Bear with me. Kind of a different lighting of the candles routine. Not very bright. Hang in there. I haven't done this in years. Have not carved a pumpkin in quite a few years, to be honest with you. It's fun. So, what brings me to this video tonight is a beer review on Saranac Brewery's Pumpkin Ale. And pumpkin ales seem to be gaining a lot of popularity. And I've had them one time because I am not the kind that really likes anything in his beer but beer, which is barley and maybe wheat and oat grain malts, and not things like pumpkin. But pumpkin ale, actually, I looked up the history on it, and they started making pumpkin ale in colonial America, the 1700s, possibly earlier than that, when the English colonists were here, and they wanted their beer. You better believe it. And they couldn't really get their hands on a lot of barley malt and such for a while, and so they started using pumpkins and fermenting pumpkins, and they'd hop it up a bit, but it was mainly the ales were made out of pumpkins. Poor people that couldn't afford to buy really good grain, barley, notably, and they considered pumpkin ale a pretty cheap, not a desirable drink unless that's all you had. It was kind of a last resort kind of beer. That's what I've read on my research on pumpkin ale. George Washington brewed pumpkin ale, and a recipe from George Washington pumpkin ale survives. And lately they've been making just about every major brewery's got a pumpkin ale, it seems like. So Saranac Brewery is about 70 miles as the crow flies from where I'm sitting doing this beer review. So I'm loyal to my local brewery, so I'm going to do a review on theirs. And there's a lot of pumpkin ales I could do that might well be better than this. I don't know. But this is the one you get, Saranac. Saranac Brewery's Pumpkin Ale. They're out of Utica, New York. Saranac is actually a lake up in the Adirondacks, about 70 miles north of where the brewery is, I'd say. Very beautiful town up in the Adirondacks. Gets a lot of tourism for the fall colors and skiing and mountains and the sights. All right, I'm going to read to you quite briefly what I found on this beer via their Saranac's website, namely. Saranac Pumpkin Ale. Alcohol by volume is 5.4, which makes it a fairly respectable, not a strong beer, but it's not a weak beer either. A strong beer, I'd say, would be anything over 7%. A weak beer would be anything under 4.2%, I'd say. And this is 5.4. Now the IBUs on this are 15. 15 IBUs, International Bitterness Units. It's just a way to tell how bitter a beer is. Give you an idea what it might taste like. 15 IBUs is very weak for an ale. It's definitely not an IPA at 15 IBUs. I think like your regular Budweiser or Miller's, they're about 10 IBUs. They obviously, with a pumpkin ale, they weren't striving for an IPA or stout kind of taste. They're probably striving for a pumpkin pie kind of thing. I don't know. I'm going to find out. Okay, this is what Saranac Brewery has to say about this beer. Our pumpkin ale recipe uses real pumpkins from a sustainable farm, Stylebush Island Farm. Along with 3,000 pounds of real pumpkin, we also use cinnamon, allspice, cloves, ginger to spice and flavor this beauty. It doesn't get more authentic than that. So it's beer with pumpkin, as well as cinnamon, allspice, cloves, and ginger. And so they're shooting for a pumpkin pie kind of thing. This is a seasonal beer. I'm not sure if they have this out year-round or not. Not really big on these beers, but I'm going to try it out tonight. This is the bottle. That's kind of inspired the pumpkins here. I'll catch myself on fire. Yeah, it really just got a big pumpkin on it. That kind of says it all. Pumpkin ale, right? Saranac pumpkin ale. Nothing on the back to speak of. All right. Oh, that's it. I paid. It's actually fairly cheap. You can get a 6-pack of it for under $10, which for craft beers is not very expensive. So it gets a thumbs up already just on the price with me. I bought a 12-pack of it for $14 and something. So I'll put on my beer review hat. He's got his hat, he's got his hat, I've got my hat. Let's get to the ale. The ale. Ugh. Yeah. Alright. Been a long day. It's always work. Oh yeah. I definitely don't smell any hops. Get a candle behind this. My latest addition to my crazy beer mug collection. I purposely look for hand-blown kind of wild beer mugs, and this is the latest. It's kind of small, but hey, maybe I'll drink less. Alright, it's got a rather amber color. Nothing remarkable. Looks kind of fizzy, carbonated. I think this beer is fairly cold. Well, I know it's colder than 71 degrees. 57. I think this thing's shooting straight through at the table. So, this beer's been in my freezer, so I think it's pretty cold. I think it's at least, it's 40, if not colder than 40 degrees, all right? I'm gonna have to get a better way to do the meat thermometer or something. Got a nice creamy head to it. They did not say what type of hops they put in this, but whatever type of hops they put in this, it wasn't very much. 12 IBUs, insubstantial. I smell, you smell cinnamon, pumpkin. I get cinnamon. I've had a hard time with that word my entire life. Cinnamon. I knew it was going to be my Achilles, heel on this video. It's just saying cinnamon. A lifelong. That and a couple other words I fumble on. You do smell the cinnamon up front. Can't say that I smell pumpkin. It does have kind of a spicy cloves. Nothing, it's kind of faint, nothing really strong. I don't know what you call that color. It's not really amber. Kind of a light brown. Oh. I'm not very big on Halloween, honestly. At least since my kids grew up. But, what the heck. There you have it. With the old candle test. Kind of a light brown, beige, I don't know what you call that. I'm seeing it in the camera. The camera's a pretty good representation of what I'm looking at with the eye, just so you know. This camera does a pretty good job in some regards. And they said this camera does not do good video at all in low light, and I totally disagree with them on that. I think they just don't know how to, whoever wrote those reviews obviously have just been using their cell phone to make their YouTube videos for a long time. And they switched up their game to a camera, and lo and behold, you've got a learning curve with a camera. Just like you do with this beer. Alright, so let's take a taste, let you know what I think. And I will tell you, I am thirsty. This is my night off, tomorrow's my day off. And God blessed me with a job that you worked all day when you're done with that one. When I hear people in their 20s complaining that they're physically exhausted, kind of gives me a little perk at my age. Alright, so. Definitely different. I get the pumpkin, it drinks easy. I can taste the pumpkin and the cinnamon. I don't know about the others. They're in there, the cloves. I think did they say allspice? It's easy drinking beer, I'll tell you that. How you do a beer review? Let's see. The back taste is rather bitter. I don't know, it's not bad. Oh, there goes my candle. Would I buy this again? I think if I wanted to drink something different, yeah, I'd buy this again. I wasn't expecting to like this, to tell you the truth. I was not expecting to like this. One soldier down. No, I wasn't. Oh, sorry, I gotta get Earl in here. There you go, Earl. You want a drink? It's pumpkin ale. Nah, I don't like it. I don't like it. So, I don't know what else to say about this. How do they make it? I can tell you that I brewed beer. I actually brewed my first batch of beer when I was 19. And home brewing was virtually unheard of. But my dad, he got this thing in the mail. This is back a long time ago, all right? Long time ago. when I was a teenager. He got this thing in the mail. It was a marketing gimmick. He didn't know it. Said something about our last name is Schenk name is an old German Teutonic name, you know, and that we got knighted for making a battle cries back in the days of the old German knights and barbarians and all that, and that Shanks were known for making really good beer back in the olden days. And so my dad bought a set of beer mugs with our Shank coat of arms on it. And so I thought, beer brewing is in my blood. So I decided to brew some beer. You know, come to find out, my dad didn't know it at the time, but the Shank side, I'm almost all English for the most part. The DNA, English, Scottish, Scandinavian, a little German, but European. But the Shanks actually came from Bavaria, Switzerland. They were Mennonites, and they came to America as Mennonites and settled in Lancaster County, Pennsylvania. But at the time, I thought that thing he bought, you know, it's just junk. Really, coat of arms, probably all bogus. I mean, the name Shank is like the name Smith in England. It's all over the place in Europe. And so I brewed my first beer at 19 in the kitchen sink and didn't know what I was doing. But I came up with something that was alcoholic, and I gave a jar of it to my boss at the time, Carl, and he liked his beer and he drank it, and he got so sick he was out of work for a week. I kid you not. But I got better at brewing, and I know about brewing. And so what they do with these, they make up their mash, which is their grain, you know, probably barley, almost all barley for this. And it's a mash. It's mixed in with warm water, so it's like oatmeal consistency. With pumpkin ales, they use the pumpkin, the meat part. They don't use the outside husk, the rind. But the rest of it, they'll take amount of the rest of like what's in the wall here and grind it up into a paste, and they mix that right in with their barley mash, and then just brew it as they would brew the beer regularly. So they just add a mashed up pumpkin minus the rind and seeds and pulp and into their regular brewing mash, and you get the pumpkin ale. And in this case, they threw in some other spices, probably shooting for like a pumpkin pie in a mug. It's not bad, honestly. I really did not think I was going to like this. This dainty little mug, huh? Mug something, isn't it? I don't know what to think of whoever made this. They signed their name on it, but I can't read it. On the bottom, with it etched it in. Looks like, I don't know, you can't read it. They were good at etching as they were this. I don't know, it's pretty wild. This has got to be the wildest beer mug I think I've ever had. Suiting for pumpkin ale. Yeah, that's pretty good. Honestly, it's not bad. Considering I'm a guy that likes stouts and IPAs, this is not bad beer. You will taste a little bit of the pumpkin and spice. Virtually no bitterness to this. It's an okay beer, and for the money, it makes it even more okay as far as I'm concerned. But there's a lot of different pumpkin ales out there. I saw a pumpkin stout that sounded interesting, but I wanted to cover this one because it's local, and I do support my local brewery. Well, yes, I give this 2 thumbs up. It's not perfect beer, but it's a good beer. And if you want to try pumpkin ale, I don't know how the others are, because I'm new to this, but this is okay. And I'll leave it at that. I can't think of anything else to say about it, really. Well. Happy Halloween.